Hi everybody, Judith Hanson here. I'm running my monthly live session and thought it was time that I shared this live on Facebook. It's taken me a while, but I've got through the setup without any difficulties, so I hope this is working. So welcome to everybody who's here watching live or watching the video later. And today we're talking about needle phobia. Now, if you've seen any of my posts recently, I have become rather obsessive about needle phobia, and I do not apologize for this. Needle phobia is a horrible thing to have anyway. It prevents us from doing all sorts of very necessary things like going to the dentist, going for medical procedures, going for blood tests, and of course, issue of the moment, going for our COVID-19 vaccination. So that is why I've been focusing on needle phobia. And I have been running a needle phobia program, a recovery program, if you like. We are more than halfway through, and already this wasn't planned. One of the people in the group has had a tooth extracted and got through having the needles for the anesthetic. Somebody else has had a blood test and also a COVID vaccination unexpectedly early. And one of the group is going to have their COVID vaccination on Thursday after our session tomorrow evening. So it's all happening in the group, but it's more importantly, it's all working. So what is a needle phobia? What is a phobia? A phobia is an unreasonable, excessive fear of one particular thing. And you can have phobias about all sorts of things. The common ones that you've probably come across are fear of flying, fear of spiders, fear of heights, fear of needles. It's reckoned that 1 in 10 people have a severe form of needle phobia. So that's 10% of the population, and probably another 10% have some degree of fear. Now, none of us look forward to going and having somebody putting a needle in our arm or in our gum or in the crook of our elbow, but somebody with a needle phobia probably can't do it. They may not even be able to book whatever they're supposed to be booking. If they book it, they probably won't be able to go, so they'll cancel or just not turn up. Or if they go, they may not be able to go through with it, or something extreme may happen. So one of the people in my current group passes out, or used to, I hasten to say, used to pass out whenever she had any needle related procedure. And other people just become hysterical and actually go into a panic attack. And so it's the people involved are unable to do whatever it is they're supposed to be doing. So it's an excessive fear that stops us from doing things that are important and in many cases necessary. So people go for years without going to the dentist. They refuse all blood tests to investigate whatever's going on with them. And yeah, I mean, I've had people who've come to me because they have to have an operation. It's medically essential that they have an operation, and it's their fear of needles that's stopping them. Or in the case of one I've already mentioned, they have to have some dental treatment. And it's irrational. I suffered from a fear of flying. I've never had a fear of needles, but I did suffer from a fear of flying, and it is totally irrational. I've flown since the age of 4 quite happily, and then the first time I took my young children on a plane, as we went to take off, having been totally fine up until that point, suddenly I was in a panic attack. And at that time, I don't think I even knew what a panic attack was. This is way before I did any of this. And I was a bit of a gibbering wreck. Well, I pulled myself together because I had young kids, but it was a hard struggle. And then, of course, I had to fly home after the holiday. I tried once more, and then I gave up for nearly 10 years. And so, you know, it limited our choice of family holidays for 10 years. You know, we actually had some lovely holidays pulling a caravan around Europe, but we never had the choice of flying anywhere because I couldn't get in the plane. I hasten to add that now I am very comfortable flying, quite happy to consider doing quite long haul flights. So it is curable, but it is irrational. So in that period of time when I was suffering from fear of flying, numerous people tried to explain to me the mechanics of flying, how, or the physics of flying, I don't know what the correct term is. You know, my view was, how can anything this heavy get up in the air and stay there? And so I had it all explained to me about uplift and downlift and yeah, forces going in different directions. I can't remember it because it was of no value. It didn't help me. It didn't matter how much rational explanation was given to me. I've even had people say to me, oh, it's the safest way to travel. You're more likely to die on the way to the airport in a car crash than you are to be in a plane crash. That, of course, was really comforting. So you can't talk anybody out of a phobia. And what's even worse is that they do tend to get worse. So I didn't like going to airports. I did manage to drop my husband off at an airport to go off skiing, but I couldn't get out of the car. And then I didn't even want to drive him to the airport. I didn't even like looking at planes in the sky. If I was sitting in the garden, you know, a lovely summer day and you're looking up and then, oh my goodness, there's an aeroplane in the sky. So it tends to escalate and spread if not dealt with. What I say to people who talk to me, either as potential clients or just people that I meet, you know, should I do something about a phobia? Well, the answer is, if it's seriously affecting your life or significantly affecting your life, then do something about it, because it's very possible to cure a phobia. So for me, I suddenly realized I was actually limiting where I could go in the world, because, you know, you can only drag a caravan so far before you hit sea and long gaps between pieces of land. So, you know, it was stopping me from doing something that I wanted to do. I've talked about the reasons why getting rid of needle phobia is important, but even the ones you think, well, maybe don't need to bother. Spider phobia, well, I'll just avoid spiders. I was talking to somebody this afternoon who said if she sees a spider in her bedroom, she can't go to bed in her bedroom. She goes to sleep somewhere else. And I've had clients who were exactly like that and spent hours checking every corner of every room on a regular basis when they went into the house, when they woke up at night, before they went to bed, when they got up in the morning, you know, hours a day spent looking for spiders because they couldn't stand the thought of a spider being in the house, and others who couldn't go in the garden or couldn't go for country walks. Or so when it's limiting your life, stopping you from doing something you want to do, then it's really important. And needle phobias come top of that list for me, and particularly at the moment, I know there are people out there who are not having the vaccine, and I know they have their reasons for not doing it. My attitude is I want everybody who would like to have the vaccine to be able to do so and not be prevented by their extreme fear, or not have a really uncomfortable experience. Because even if you can force yourself to do it, it'll be something that will be on your mind in the days leading up to it, and you'll be dreading it, and then it'll be horrible when you get there. And then you think, oh, well, I've had my first vaccination, now in 12 weeks time I've got to do it again. And the view seems to be that we might have to repeat this on an annual basis. So if you or anybody you know has a needle phobia, get them to watch this video and get them to take some action. with somebody. Doesn't have to be me, but just do something. So how do I help people to get over a phobia? It is one of the more straightforward things I do. That's not in any way denigrating how horrible it is, because I know I've been there, but it is one of the more straightforward things I do. And what we're using two parts of the brain, which one of which helps to cause the phobia. So there is a part of our brain that automates things for us, and it's really useful because it's how we learn to do an awful lot of things, like, you know, simple things like learning to walk, learning to ride a bike, learning to drive, any sort of physical activity, and a lot of mental activities. So this part of the brain spots us doing something on a regular basis because we're practicing learning to drive, or we're practicing learning to walk, and says, okay, I'll make all of this automatic for you. And then you don't even have to think about it. So, you know, we don't sort of get up in the morning and think, now, how does this walking work? You know, I put that leg, I must put that leg there, I must put that leg there. If we're lucky, we're able to get out of bed and just walk and not even think about what we're doing. So it's a wonderful part of the brain, really useful. One slight problem. This part of the brain assumes that we have made a conscious, sensible decision to do the thing that we're doing on a repeated basis. So when it catches us being fearful in a certain situation, it says, oh, okay, so every time we see a needle, we want to go, ah, and pass out, then, okay, I'll make that automatic. And so it does. So we have a habit that has been automated and that we have to break. The other thing that is going on, if you want to understand what's underlying this extreme fear, is effectively, for whatever reason, sometimes we know it comes from a bad experience, sometimes who knows where it's come from. For whatever reason, the feared object has become a threat, and when we face it or think about it, we activate our fight-flight response. So, unfortunately, the fight-flight response, so I'm pointing to the back of my head because that's where it all happens, well, and that's where it starts, is hardwired. And it's hardwired for our protection. It's for life or death situations, you know, coming out of the cave and meeting a saber-toothed tiger that wants to have us for breakfast. We have to be prepared for action, to fight the wild animal that wants to kill us, or to run back to the cave as quickly as possible. Now, when we imagine something happening in our heads, so when we think about the feared thing, we activate the fight-flight response. When we actually go into the situation with the feared thing, we really activate the fight-flight response. And that's what gets us into or close to a panic attack. So in order to be ready for action, to fight that saber-toothed tiger and kill it, all sorts of things happen, driven by hormones flooding through our system. We breathe faster, heart beats faster, blood vessels expand to get oxygenated blood to the muscles as quickly as possible. Non-essential functions are closed down, like your digestive system and your immune system, for the duration. And the plan is, the original intention was, this is an immediate life or death threat. It'll be over very quickly, and then everything else goes back to normal. When it's something that we're thinking about in our heads, or something that happens repeatedly, of course, it's not over very quickly. So, for instance, you know, with me and the fear of flying, the first time I flew, which was before I knew any of this and had taken any action, and I was just going to be a really brave girl and do it, with the help of some gin, I have to confess, but I wouldn't recommend that. I was in a state of semi-panic as soon as it was booked. It was a late booking, fortunately, and in all the days leading up to it, and an absolute mess at the airport. And I had no idea how I got on the plane. I had no idea how I stayed on the plane. Well, that's because they shut the doors. And, you know, I've never been so glad to get off a plane in my life. So I spent the whole time in or very near to a state of panic, and it was a very uncomfortable, unpleasant experience. So it's not just going to get the vaccination, it's the minute you get the letter or the text and you book it, then you've probably got a few days, maybe a week, just thinking about it, and then it's getting up and getting dressed and going to the wherever you're going to have the vaccination, and waiting and watching other people, and all of those things will just build and build and build your stress. And what's going on there is something that we use to cure the phobia, and that is by just imagining being in the feared situation with the feared object, we can get ourselves into a panic state. So as far as the brain's concerned, when you're imagining something, it's as if it's happening for real. So guess what? That's what we use to get people out of their fear. Very simple, very repetitive cognitive behavioral approach, which is called desensitization or mental rehearsal. So what I do is to get people to list the situations that they're afraid of related to needles, which is classically people talking about needles or medical procedures, seeing a needle, seeing an injection, having a blood test. Some people have particular issues with blood tests. Some people have particular issues with having cannulas inserted. So list is typically sort of 4 to 6 situations. I get them to score those situations on a scale of 0 to 10, where 0 is what's the problem and 10 is as bad as I can imagine. And I often get an 11 or a 10 plus. And then I put them into a nice state of hypnosis, spend a fair bit of time relaxing them. So physically relaxing, mentally calming. And then we just practice being in the feared situations, starting with the most comfortable, least uncomfortable, the one that's scored lowest. And we do it over and over again until we get down to 0, and then we do it a couple more times for relearning. And we're using that facility of the brain to learn as well from something that's being imagined as from something that is happening for real. So it's as if you've done it, I don't know, the number of times depends on the number you start at and the person, but you know, could be 6, 10 times. You have been in that situation and you have been okay. The number gradually comes down to 0. And then with each one we do on the hierarchy, the others tend to get better. So when you get to the 10, it's probably not a 10. It almost certainly is a 9 or an 8, or may even be lower. What we're left with then is the anxiety about it not having worked, because with a lot of things, you can't just pop off and test it. With fear of heights, you can, maybe. I can't ask a client to go off and pop on an aeroplane for 10 minutes just to see if it's working, or I can get people to look at needles, but I can't actually get them to experience the use of needles until we get to that point. So there is always an element of, okay, it works really well in hypnosis, but will it actually work when I get there? This doubt in the mind, this anxiety about, has it worked? Will I be okay? So alongside all of that, I will teach techniques so that people, as soon as they start to feel that anxiety about whether it's worked or not, they can take control of it, they can manage it, and stop winding themselves up into, because that's what we do. We sort of almost talk ourselves into panic, or imagine ourselves into panic. So there's a plan A and a plan B. With fear of flying, I also give people a recording to listen to as a sort of a plan C, if you like. But there will be techniques to help with the fear leading up to it and any, sort of feelings on the day. So that's how it works. And typically, I'm currently running the group program over 5 sessions. It's usually somewhere between 4 and 6 for most people. I don't think I've ever done it longer than 6 sessions. And with my one-to-one clients, I have 100% success rate because it works. There's no magic about it. It's a simple process that we go through. And if we go through it properly, and if the client does the practice that I will ask them to do, because I teach them all self-hypnosis. So once they've practiced that a bit, they're able to work on their situations in between sessions. So we move forward more quickly, and they can always repeat that later if they need to, as part of their not getting anxious about anxiety. So it's a horrible thing. It's irrational. It's emotional. It's a fear. And it's a real fear that can cause us to get into a state of panic, to pass out, to vomit, to, go hysterical. We all do it in our own way. I can remember that I think the second flight I did, I was hysterical. I think I wasn't with, I can't remember. Anyway, I do remember being hysterical. So you're out of control, which nobody likes. So it's possible, it's straightforward, it's in my case, what I'm doing with the group program, because I've typically done it one-to-one, but only started up now with group programs, I am guaranteeing success. So if it doesn't work with the group program, you can attend the next group program, or people can work one-to-one with me to sort it out. So I am putting my money where my mouth is, or my time where my mouth is, as it were. So what I thought I'd do today, for those of you that just want to experience it, was that I will do a version of what I do with my phobic clients. And if you want to try it out, if you've got a phobia, please start with a fairly low level situation related to it. Well, don't go straight in for the main event, because that's not ideal, and that won't give you a good experience. If you're not got a particular phobic response or a particular fear, I'm sure there's some situation in your life where you feel more uncomfortable than you'd like to feel. So if you want to try this out, I'm going to do it now with you, and think of a situation and work on that. But as I say, if you do have a fear, make sure that it's, so if it's maybe thinking about needles, which is usually the lowest one, or it's thinking about booking a holiday, or actually booking a holiday for 6 months hence. Oh, wouldn't that be nice? Or something that would be at the bottom of the scale if we were working together. And if you, as I say, don't have a specific fear, just think of something where you're uncomfortable, just so you can experience it. And then if you do have friends or family who do have a fear or a phobia, you can tell them a bit about it, having experienced it. And it'll be a nice, relaxing experience, even if you don't need this particular version of hypnotherapy. So I would suggest you get yourself somewhere nice and comfortable, ideally somewhere where your back, your neck and your head are supported. If you've not had hypnosis before, adults don't tend to move much, so just make sure you're comfortable. You can do it upright in a chair and it's fine. That's how I did all of my training. But it's probably slightly better if you have your head and your neck supported. And yeah, just take a minute or two to get yourself comfortable somewhere. Obviously, if you're watching the video version, you can pause it and come back to it. But if you are watching live, then take a few moments to get comfortable. And I like to start every session of hypnotherapy or every session of hypnosis with a breathing technique to get us into a nice state. And this, fortuitously, not quite fortuitously, is something you can use to deal with any feeling of anxiety or overwhelm or stress. Now, there are lots of breathing techniques out there, and I'm not particularly precious about mine. If you find one or no one have one now that works for you, then fine. Mine is simple, and it has the advantage of being designed to bring your fight-flight response back under control without going into all of the details of how that works, which I can if anybody's interested. So it's called balanced breathing, and the other reason it's balanced, as well as bringing that back into balance, because we're not meant to be in an alert state except in emergencies, and we're meant to come back down from it as soon as the emergency is over and be in a state of balance. And so this brings us into a state of balance. And it also happens to be balanced in terms of the length of the in-breath and the out-breath. So 2 rules: breathing from your diaphragm, which you may or may not be doing already or doing it well already. So deep breaths, using your stomach to pull your diaphragm down and pull the air into your lungs. So it helps to put your hand just under your waist to feel that stomach moving out as you breathe in and then deflating as you breathe out. And then the other important point is the length of the breath, breathing in for a count of 6 and out for a count of 6, making both the in and the out breath slow and steady. So let's start with that. If you can't get to 6, then get as far as you can with your in breath and make the out breath the same length. And that means it would be good for you to go away and practice until you can get to 6, because as I say, this is something you can do. You know, you're going for an interview, you've got to do a presentation and you've got those nerves running. This will help. So if you learn nothing from this session, learn how to do the breathing and go away and practice it, because I use it almost on a daily basis, I think. In fact, I do use it more than once a day on some days. Okay, then, so let's just do 3 of those deep, balanced breaths. And if you haven't already done so, just allow your eyes to comfortably close. And in a moment, I'm going to ask you to imagine you are tensing various muscle groups in turn. Don't actually tense them, just imagine that you're tensing them. Of course, if you really imagine that you're tensing muscles, clenching your fists tightly, for example, you may find your hand muscles tense a little, and that's fine. Imagining the feelings of tension first makes it easier for you then to relax the muscles more deeply than normal. And that's just what you're going to do now. After the tension, I want you to actually relax each muscle group as deeply as you possibly can, if possible, beyond your normal limit of relaxation, much, much deeper than usual. Begin by imagining that every muscle in your body is becoming tense and rigid. Really keep that feeling of tension in mind for a few seconds. Imagine all of the muscles growing more rigid. Now, very, very slowly relax the body completely and utterly. Let every last ounce of tension progressively melt away, dissolving into nothingness. Release the muscles much deeper than normal, far beyond your normal limit of relaxation. That's good. Now turn your attention to your right leg and imagine what it would feel like to tense all of the muscles in your leg. Tensing all of the muscles and really keeping that tension in mind for a few seconds. Tensing the muscles in your foot, your lower leg, your knee, your thigh. Now very slowly relax the muscles in the leg completely and utterly. Let your leg relax much deeper than normal, far beyond your deepest point of relaxation. Good. Now keeping your right leg relaxed, relaxing deeper and deeper. Turn your attention to the left leg and do the same. Imagine for a few seconds that the left leg is completely rigid and tense. The left foot is rigid and tense. Now very slowly relax the muscles in the leg completely and utterly. Let your leg relax progressively, much deeper than your normal level of relaxation. Now keep both legs relaxing deeper and deeper. Turn your attention to your right arm and imagine for a few seconds you're tensing all of the muscles, making a fist, tightening the shoulder. Now very slowly relax the muscles completely and utterly. Let the arm relax much deeper than normal, far beyond your deepest level of relaxation. Now keep your right arm relaxing deeper and deeper. Turn your attention to your other arm and imagine for a few seconds tensing all the muscles, making a fist, tightening the shoulder. Now very slowly relax the muscles completely and utterly. Let your arm relax much deeper than usual, far beyond your deepest level of relaxation. Now keep your arms and your legs relaxing deeper and deeper, and turn your attention to your neck and imagine for a few seconds you're tensing all of the muscles in your neck and in your shoulders. Those muscles out across the back of your shoulders and in your neck getting tenser and tenser. Now very slowly relax those muscles completely and utterly. Let your neck and your shoulders relax. Relax much deeper than usual, far beyond your deepest level of relaxation. Now imagine that you're tensing all of the muscles around your eyes, squeezing the eyelids tight shut. And now very slowly relax those eye muscles completely and utterly. Let your eyes and all of the muscles relax much deeper than normal. Imagine you're in a deep, pleasant sleep as your eyes relax and drift into a comfortable resting position. Now imagine you're tensing all of the muscles in your face for a few seconds, tensing up your face, clenching your jaw tightly. Now very slowly relax your muscles. Relax your muscles of your face, your jaw, completely and utterly. Let your features become vacant, empty, just as if you were in a deep, deep sleep. Now imagine that even your breathing is becoming more and more relaxed. Relax your body so deeply that your breathing changes all by itself. When the body is relaxed, it uses less energy, so the breath becomes more shallow and gentle. Let your breathing gently take you deeper and deeper and deeper into relaxation. Now I'd like you to just scan around your whole body. And if you find any traces of tension anywhere at all, just imagine those sensations dissolving into coloured mist and drifting away into nothingness. And in a moment, I'm going to count you down deeper into relaxation by counting down from 5 to 1. And as I count, I want you to imagine yourself going deeper. And you can imagine this in whatever way is right for you. So starting now at 5 down to 4, twice as deep, twice as relaxed. And 3, deeper still, more relaxed. And 2, twice as deep again, twice as relaxed. And 1, even deeper still, more and more relaxed, drifting down deeper and deeper and deeper to the level of relaxation that is right for you right now. And you're now going to imagine yourself in whatever situation you've decided to work on. And as you do so, please remain completely relaxed. Think of relaxation, imagine relaxation, focus on letting go as deeply as possible, more deeply than ever before. As you relax, you're neutralizing any tension, any discomfort, and those peaceful feelings will quickly generalize and spread to other similar situations. As you continue to relax deeper and deeper, really imagine that you're in that scene, in that situation right now, seeing it through your own eyes, hearing it through your own ears as if it's actually happening right here, right now. Make it seem as real as you possibly can, all the time remaining completely relaxed. Really believe you're there. Really believe you're there right now, facing things and continuing to let go and relax completely. And as you continue to imagine the situation, keep relaxing deeper and deeper and deeper. Really imagining you're right there, right now. Relaxed, calm. Now fade that scene completely for a while. Relax even deeper than before. Calm your mind and smile to yourself inside as you relax completely and utterly. That's good. And in a moment, I'm going to ask you to repeat your imagining being in that situation. But before I do, just allow yourself to focus on relaxing, relaxing even more deeply. And as your body relaxes, your mind becomes calm and peaceful, tranquil, quiet. Now imagine the same scene again, the same situation again. And as you do so, please remain completely relaxed. As you continue to relax, imagine being in that situation right now, as if it's really happening. And imagine yourself continuing to let go and relax completely and utterly. Keep relaxing deeper and deeper and deeper as you really imagine being in that situation. And as you imagine being in that situation, just allow any traces of tension in your body or your mind to dissolve and drift away. Now, fade that scene completely from your mind. Fade that scene from your mind and allow yourself to focus on relaxing even more deeply. Calm your mind. Smile to yourself inside as you relax completely and utterly. That's good. And for one last time, I want you to relax back down again. Relaxing down deeper and deeper. And as your body relaxes, your mind becomes calm and peaceful, tranquil, quiet. And for one last time, I want you to imagine yourself in the same scene. And as you do so, please remain completely relaxed. As you imagine yourself in that situation, continue to relax. Really imagine that you're there right now, as if it's really happening, and you are continuing to let go and relax. Relaxing your body, calming your mind. Keep relaxing deeper and deeper as you really imagine being in that situation. And as you imagine it, imagine yourself relaxing deeper and deeper and allowing any traces of tension in your body or your mind to just dissolve and drift away. Now fade that scene completely from your mind. Fade that scene completely from your mind and relax even deeper than before. Calm your mind as your body relaxes. Smile to yourself inside with a sense of satisfaction and achievement. Knowing that even in this very short single session, you've already started to exhibit some extremely valuable skills. You've started learning how to face your fears and overcome them by using relaxation. And you will always remember how to do that. And the more you do it, the better and better you will get at relaxing away any fears or discomfort. And the more you do it, the more you will find that you're more relaxed in a wider and wider variety of situations in life. If you practice these skills, they will spread and generalize to other times and other places. With practice, you will find that whenever you need to relax, you'll be able to do so. And the more you practice, the more easily and confidently you will be able to relax. But for now it's time. But for now, it's time to bring this session to an end. Time for me to bring you up and out of hypnosis by counting from 1 up to 5. And as I count, you will comfortably and naturally emerge from hypnosis feeling good, with a sense of achievement and satisfaction, knowing that you've started to develop some skills that you can use in a wide variety of situations. Knowing that you can develop these skills further by practicing. And when I reach 5, you will be fully alert, fully emerged. So starting now at 1, all sensations in your body returning to their normal levels. And 2, all sounds returning to their normal perspective. And 3, remembering where you are in your room, what's in front of you and to either side. And 4, bringing out with you all of the benefits of this session. And 5, eyes open, fully alert, fully emerged. And I trust anybody watching live is back with me. I haven't quite worked out how to go and check that that's happening. Let me just have a little look at Facebook. Sorry, I'll carry on talking while I'm doing this. It would help if I knew what I was doing. But there's only one way to practice this really, and that's by doing it. Okay. Yep, I can see myself there. Oh, 11 people and 2 people engaging and 1 person sharing. So if you are still with me, please let me know that you have come out of hypnosis and you're okay. If you're watching this on video, I hope you're out of hypnosis. There is no risk to hypnosis in terms of getting stuck. I've never been called out in an emergency, because somebody's been stuck in hypnosis for hours and hasn't come out again. The only risk is that you may go to sleep. That's because that's what your mind and your body have decided you need. And if you have gone to sleep, you will wake up naturally and normally, as if it was a normal sleep, which it is, because you've slipped from the hypnotic state into the sleep state because you've relaxed, and your mind and your body's probably said, oh, thank goodness for that, let's have a little nap. Okay, so if you have any questions, any comments, you can either contact me directly via Facebook messaging, or you can post a comment below this video and I will get back to you, whether it's a direct message or a comment. And if you want to know any more about my program for dealing with needle phobia, I will be starting a new program at the end of this month on the 31st. At the moment, I'm running them in the evenings, starting at 7 o'clock, same time as this. And if you have any other phobia, get in touch with me. The one I'm moving on to next, again, for obvious reasons, is social phobia, because people will be, I hope, all of us will be coming out of lockdown at some time in the not too distant future. And I'm not going to talk a lot about social phobia now. I'm doing that next month. So in a month's time, I'll be talking, in 4 weeks' time, I'll be talking about social phobia, which is slightly more complex than the other phobias. And I think for all of us who have led a somewhat restricted life for most of the last year, coming back out into normal will seem strange, and for many a little bit frightening, and for some extremely frightening. So that's why I'm moving on to that next, and I'll probably run both programs simultaneously, as long as there is a need. Okay then, well, thank you for watching if you have been, and as I say, I will be back with you in 4 weeks' time to talk about social phobia. And meanwhile, there's plenty going on my Facebook page and on my profile page. And if you're an anxiety sufferer or a fear or phobia sufferer, please join my anxiety support group, where you can communicate with people who are suffering in a similar way. And until I see you again, live or on video, please take care of yourself, stay safe and stay well. Bye.